Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a truly powerful story that is honestly going to force us to rethink everything we know about success. It's a narrative drawn straight from our source material about two entirely different lives unfolding simultaneously in the exact same city. And as you'll see, it totally proves that our starting line doesn't always dictate our finish line. Think about this for a second. If you lost every single penny you had today, how rich would you actually be? It's kind of a heavy question, right? We spend so much time and energy chasing financial wealth, but what happens when that safety net just completely vanishes? To answer that, we're going to follow a chronological journey of two young men whose lives answer this very question in spectacular fashion. Section 1. The Starting Line. Two births, one city. So our source text sets the scene on a single morning in a single city. Two baby boys are born just a few miles apart, but into completely, vastly opposite circumstances. On one side, we have a birth in a luxurious private hospital. We're talking doctors, nurses, expensive gifts, and a wealthy business-owning family, led by a man named Victor, who owned factories and shops. They were immediately promising their son a massive inheritance. Now, on the other side, just a few miles away, another baby is born in a small, public hospital to poor laborers who were literally struggling just to cover the medical bill. No grand celebration, no guaranteed future. The only things they could offer this child were love, hope, and a really deep faith that his life would somehow be better than theirs. Moving into Section 2, Diverging Paths, Growing Up Worlds Apart. The stark reality of their day-to-day lives couldn't have been more different. Victor's son woke up in a huge mansion. His breakfast was served on a polished table, his children attended expensive schools, and his father started every day by signing papers in an air-conditioned office. Whenever the boy wanted something, it just magically appeared. But by shielding him from every hardship, his parents were unknowingly shielding him from life's absolute most valuable lessons. Meanwhile, the narrator of our source material describes the poor boy's life beautifully. He says, "I still remember the sound of my father's footsteps before sunrise. Every morning while the world was asleep, he would quietly open the wooden door of our small house, look back at us for a moment, and leave with an empty stomach but a heart full of responsibility. He was a poor man, but he carried himself like a king because he knew that 4 people inside that house depended on him. The roof leaked during the rainy season, the walls were cracked. Sometimes they had enough food for dinner, and sometimes there was only tea and dry bread. My father started every day by carrying bricks under the burning sun. Yet he would smile and say, 'As long as my children sleep without fear, I am the richest man alive.'" And, despite the hunger and that leaking roof, the poor boy had an incredible emotional anchor. Every single night, his mother would smile at him and share this really profound sentiment: never be ashamed of being poor. Be ashamed only if you stop dreaming. The source points out that these exact words became his guiding light through the absolute darkest days. It was a wealth of mindset that money just couldn't buy. And this massive gap followed them right into the classroom. Picture this. Victor's son pulls up to school in a luxury car, wearing expensive clothes, carrying the newest books, and instantly gaining the admiration of everyone just because of his family's money. The poor boy's reality? He was walking several miles every single morning in old shoes with holes in them, carrying secondhand books in a beat-up old bag. And yeah, some students laughed at him. But rather than answering with anger, the young boy made a quiet, unshakable promise to himself. He decided that one day his success was going to speak much louder than their mocking words. All right, Section 3, the turning points, when tragedy strikes. A defining crisis hit the poor boy's family. One evening, his father returned home from the construction site with blood on his hands. A heavy block had slipped at work. His mother rushed toward him in an absolute panic, saying, "You need a doctor." But the father just shook his head. He said, "The doctor can wait. First, buy books for our son." The narrator recalls, "I was standing in the corner listening. I was only 12 years old, but that single sentence, changed everything." Faced with unpaid bills and empty shelves, this young boy didn't give up. He took on grueling physical labor, carrying bricks and cleaning shops during the day just to survive. And because they had no electricity at home, he spent his nights studying under a streetlight, driven entirely by the memory of his father's sacrifice. Now, flip the coin and look at Victor's son during this exact same time. He was attending parties, hitting the shopping malls, going on super expensive vacations. He lived comfortably, totally believing success belonged to him simply by birthright. He never really appreciated his privilege, and the source points out exactly why. He had never experienced what it actually felt like to lose everything. So that begs the question, what happens when the only wealth you have is literally just money? When you haven't built resilience or grit or a strong character, and suddenly the financial floor drops right out from under you? Well, disaster struck the wealthy family in the form of a sudden, brutal collapse. A series of failed investments completely destroyed Victor's vast business empire. The fallout was incredibly rapid. The mansion sold, the luxury cars gone, and perhaps most painfully, the people who once surrounded them vanished into thin air. Victor's son, who had literally never once worried about money, was suddenly thrust into poverty, struggling to find even a simple job. For the very first time in his life, he felt true fear, deep disappointment, and complete uncertainty. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the universe was finally rewarding the boy under the streetlight. Those long, exhausting nights of endless hard work opened doors. His outstanding academic performance earned him a full scholarship, leading to an excellent graduation and the foundation of a highly successful, respected career. His success was the ultimate return on investment for those books bought with his father's bleeding hands. Section 4, the intersection, a rainy afternoon meeting. Imagine the tension here. The former rich boy, completely desperate for work, walks into a modern office building for a job interview. He enters the manager's office and just freezes. Sitting right there behind the big desk is the poor boy from his childhood, now a highly respected businessman known for his intelligence and honesty. The former rich boy immediately lowered his head. He was fully bracing himself for the humiliation he felt he deserved from the man he used to outshine. But you know what? Humiliation never came. Instead, the successful businessman stood up, smiled warmly, embraced his former classmate, and delivered these incredibly profound, empathetic words. Life doesn't test us to destroy us. It tests us to teach us. We all deserve a second chance. Those words, they changed absolutely everything for the former rich boy. He accepted the job with a profound sense of gratitude and completely transformed his approach to life. He started arriving early every morning with genuine humility. He took the time to learn every single task, no matter how small or tedious. And in doing so, he didn't just rebuild his career, he rebuilt his character. He finally learned the priceless lesson that success earned through hard work, through overcoming failure and challenge, is infinitely more valuable than wealth that is just handed to you. Which brings us to Section 5, the true meaning of wealth, treasures that cannot be stolen. Fast forward a few years, and both of these men stood side by side at a charity event, donating money to educate children from poor families. Looking at their paths, we can see exactly how they were both radically transformed. One man had escaped the physical trap of poverty through sheer determination. The other had escaped the mental trap of arrogance through profound humility. Two entirely different journeys that arrived at the exact same understanding of what it means to be truly rich. Because at the end of the day, true wealth is made of unstealable treasures. Money can disappear overnight. Houses can be foreclosed on. Entire business empires can fail in a matter of months. But knowledge, discipline, kindness, integrity, these remain forever. These are the inner qualities that mark a truly wealthy person, and absolutely no one can steal them from you. Our source leaves us with this incredibly direct, powerful piece of wisdom. If you are poor today, never lose hope, because your current circumstances do not dictate your future. And if you are wealthy today, never become proud, because life can change without a moment's warning. Every single sunrise is a brand new opportunity to step closer to your dreams, to stay humble in success, and to stay patient in failure. So I want to leave you with a final, lingering thought to chew on. When life changes without warning, and trust me, it always does, will your character be worth more than your money? I really hope this story inspires you to cultivate the kind of wealth that truly lasts, the kind of wealth that lives inside you. Thank you so much for exploring this explainer with me today, and keep building that character.